Welcome to the Success Partner Podcast. I'm Daya Naef, your host and founder of The Success Partner. On this show, we dive into the stories of attorneys, business professionals, and entrepreneurs who have navigated the ups and downs of building successful careers and businesses. From the strategies they've implemented to the challenges they've overcome, we're here to uncover the insights that can help you on your own journey to success. So sit back, relax, and let's get started. Welcome back, everybody, to the Success Partner Podcast. I am your host, Daya Naef, and today I am so excited to have Diane Comancho, who is a certified legal manager and so many more things, specializing for over 35 years in law firms. And since most of my audience is law firms, we are so glad to have her and get some insights today. So Diane, just tell us a little bit about your background, and then we can just jump into current trends.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you for having me. My background is managing law firms. My career has been in law firms and big law firms, branch offices of large firms, small firms. And then in 2013, I opened my own consulting business. So now I provide services, and I have other consultants with me with very similar backgrounds who provide services to solo and small law firms, up to about 50 people. And we help practice groups leave big firms and start their own firms, and we help existing firms through changes like they're coming now with the retirement of senior partners. We look at anything from intake to HR to finance, any of the back end systems that they have going. We look at those and help them improve them and bring them up to date. We also provide back bookkeeping, billing, and then outsourced ongoing legal administrator services, or CEO, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, C-suite fractionals, as the buzzword is now. So wonderful.
Yes.
Yeah. So we were talking a little bit before we got started about employee retention. I would love to get your thoughts on that.
I think that one of the things that's happening now is not different than it was in the 80s. Law firms all want fourth-year associates. They want people that are already trained to come in and hit the ground running. That isn't new. What's new is the attorneys that are out there looking for work, or maybe looking for work, are looking for different things than they were in the 80s. They have different expectations. And a lot of the firms that have been in existence for a long time and have done something the same, we've always done it this way, we can't do it that way. We all saw in COVID that we can do it a different way. But now people are trying to manage their firm creatively and keep their associates primarily, is what I'm talking about. And what they need to start thinking about is they need to do things differently. And the associates do not want to work as much as the partners did when they were associates. They want to have some kind of control, whether that's control over when they're working, where they're working. Somehow they have to feel like they have some control. So the hybrid, some days in the office and some days not, is really important to be able to offer to associates. You have to look at your benefits in a different way than you did in the 80s. You can't give an attorney 2 weeks vacation and then expect them to, it's just not enough. They expect more time than that. And that is, they're more independent. They expect better software and tools than they would have in the past. So there's things that the firm needs to do to kind of adjust. The associates also need to understand that they are working for people that work differently than they do as well, right? We can, teach the baby boomers about working with the Gen Xers and the Gen Zs, but the Gen Z and Gen Xers need to understand how to work with the baby boomers, because they're still there and the firms were created with them in mind. So understanding what the expectations are, and the management needs to tell the associates what the expectations are.
Mm-hmm.
They can't just assume. I've seen engagement letters where they don't put in the hours expectation.
Oh,
And we're like, well, how do they know that you want them to bill 1,300 hours a month? Well, I said it.
yeah. No.
That's not enough. It needs to be in the engagement agreement. It needs to be revisited. It needs to be looked at. So looking at onboarding, giving them the information, and figuring out how to accommodate different lifestyles than your own is one of the things that has to happen. One of the things that we've seen is law firms making a contract with associates saying, how many hours are you going to commit to this year?
Mhm.
And if you commit to 1,000 hours this year or 1,200 hours this year, and then if you bill 1,300 hours, you get bonused. And if you bill 1,400 hours, you get bonused on that. So the associates feel like they have some control.
Mhm.
You have an understanding. You're not telling them to work 1,300 hours if they're never going to work 1,300 hours, and you're not, and they're frustrated. And it's clear about what happens if they meet those goals and exceed those goals. So there's just a lot of different ways that we need to think about retaining our employees than we used to.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like it comes down to like communication, expectations. I see with firms, almost all the firms that I've been in had lack of transparency, and it wasn't necessarily nefarious. Like it wasn't like we're hiding the ball. It's just we never sat down and wrote it out or made it flexible or changeable or enticing, and just not part of the process that you mentioned earlier, that really needs to be a backbone of the organizations.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And partners shouldn't be afraid to say, I want to make a profit.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it was their baby at the beginning of the day. They're the ones that put their risk out first.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, great. What's been like one of your favorite success stories?
I think that the one that comes to mind with our conversation here is really helping a firm on the East Coast. I'm in San Francisco, but we have clients across the country. On the East Coast, really modify their compensation program so that they could have those conversations. And then at the end of the year, the partner saying how much better things are and how people are meeting their goals, and just having that work and the retention work. That's always good, right? When something you suggest and they implement,
And they implement
and
it.
it works the way it's supposed to work. I think that based on this conversation, I think that was what comes to mind is her firm.
Yeah, definitely. So, and how are you seeing like technology coming into play? I know like AI is on the top of everybody's lips and minds. What are you seeing?
I'm seeing a rush to AI.
Okay. Ah,
And there's, we constantly get invited to webinars and trainings and all of this on AI, and it's number one, again, it's another overload for attorneys, especially managing attorneys, to understand and absorb all of the information and then make decisions on it. But we have to be careful and make sure that we're doing things that we're protecting our clients and our client data. And that's one of the big things. The bottom line is are we, securing our client data? So there's a lot of different things you can do. Most of the software now, the document management and practice management, and is basically putting in something like a chat GPT. They are implementing AI in your own system with your information, with your data,
mhm.
and you will be able to do your questions. Uh, Show me a dog bite case where we defended the owner in Nebraska,
Mhm.
and having that kind of come up. What case law did we use to defend the dog bite case in Nebraska, and have
Mhm.
that search your own database and bring up answers to that. That's the most secure, is
Mhm.
having the software that you are using provide you with AI within your software. And that's coming and that's rolling out. The next is having something like LexisNexis. They do all the AI things now. But looking at ChatGPT and the open AI, we have to be really careful. You can't, well, you can. You should not be putting client information
Ever. Yeah.
into an open AI. I had a client the other day. She has been using AI. She's been paying for AI to do summaries of her medical transcripts, and it's been fantastic for her. She loads it up. It gives her the summary, gives her the points, and she's been using a closed system. And I'm going to stop using that and stop paying. I'm going to just use Chat GPT.
Oh, no.
Same thing. I said, no,
No, not the same thing.
no, you don't want to do that. That person's information is now in the whole world. So we have to think about what we're doing and what we're using, and we have to slow down.
Slow down. Mm-hmm.
Slow down. This is the long game, and everybody doesn't have to do it right now. The people that are telling you have to do it right now are the salespeople.
Mm-hmm.
Your clients aren't telling you have to do it right now and save me money. Slow down. It's not going to make or break your firm in the next year. I don't care what anybody says. It's just not. Be smart. Let other people test it. Let the big firms test it. The people that have IT departments that can test it. The small firms that we work with just don't have the bandwidth to test these kinds of things. And every software coming out is just thrown out at us, and we're beta testing it. And it's too hard to beta test software as a small firm.
Yeah, there's so much coming out. I was recently at a conference and I spoke on AI, and then there was another speaker after me, and a gentleman came up and was asking us questions. And so we were giving him some feedback. And he's like, well, I want to learn everything. I just want to go learn AI. And I'm like, well, that's great. Who's going to be running your business while you're out learning AI? Wouldn't it be simpler just to have one of us consultants who are ready and able to, give you some actual feedback so you can just run your company? But because it can be very overwhelming if you don't know what you're using it for. So I appreciate that slow down advice.
Yeah, slow down. Yeah, relax. Service clients.
Exactly. So client first, even using all this technology, it's like, what's in the client's best interest? Well, great. So what other trends are we seeing out there?
I was just thinking about this. I think that there's a lot of, and this isn't new or different, but the 70 somethings are retiring, and the 50 somethings are now taking over the firms, and they want to do it differently. And it's just very, very hard. It's almost a brand new firm because they want to do things differently. They want people to act differently. They have a lot of long-term employees that they're loyal to, that have been there for a long time and have a really hard time about changing what they're doing. So they may get the new software, but they're still doing it their same exact way, just in the software. They aren't really modifying their behavior in order to be more efficient. I think that's a really big challenge right now. I think that we're going to continue to see that. And the frustration of these partners taking over these firms and not being ready to handle that, and not understanding that need to slow down and to do things very methodically. They're being pushed by people coming in, by their peers. Oh, we do this. Oh, we do that. Oh, we do this. All of that kind of thing's a lot of pressure for them to make changes. So I think that the turnover of the generations, like we talked about earlier, is happening. There are firms that are just giving their practices to other firms, or taking a little bit of money. People think they're going to be able to sell their practice. It's really hard to sell your practice when you leave your practice. But there are attorneys joining larger firms for maybe a year or two, and then retiring from those firms and giving their book of business to the firm. So there are people thinking about leaving, and there are firms that are out there looking for those types of solos, that they can kind of pick those solos, say, come on in, we'll learn your business, take your business, and then you can retire from here. And this will be your package. There's a lot of growth in that way as well. And I think there's going to be more of it.
Yeah, I'm definitely seeing a lot of merger, some small firm to small firm merger, but mostly a larger acquisition growth orientated firms throughout the country. And, a merger is like a marriage, you have to go into it knowing as much as possible beforehand.
Yeah. And we're working with quite a few groups, practice groups that are leaving large firms and starting their own firm. So you have the litigation group, for example, leaving a firm, and this group leaving a firm and starting their own firm. So you have a firm that's got maybe 20 attorneys leaving and starting their own firm, and being much more efficient in the expenses because they're not supporting the big firm. And I think that COVID showed how little they needed some of the structure and the rigidity that a large firm kind of puts in place, and then has to have the people to make that kind of stay in line rigidity. We're seeing quite a little bit of that as well.
Yeah, it's a huge operation sometimes, and you can't steer you can only move a large ship incrementally. Yeah, wonderful. What is your ideal client? If I were looking for you and I didn't know it, but I'm listening to this, who am I?
You would be somebody that has hit the wall, that you are frustrated, you're spending too much time on administrative matters. You're a leader in a firm and you're spending too much time on administrative matters. You aren't getting the right information so you can make decisions easily and quickly. You are feeling like money's left on the table that isn't being, maybe it's your intake process or collections or billing or something like that, where you're like, this isn't right. Your ratios aren't right. That's usually when partners or groups of partners will come to us, is when they've just hit the wall. Not that it's things like, we're making more money, but the partners aren't making more money. More money's coming into the firm, but we're not making more money. Or we can't staff all of the work we have. How are we going to do that? What are we going to do? What's the right size of the firm? And do we just keep taking clients, and really not having a good process to put them through? And then partners that are leaving big firms that have decided that they want to break off. We help them basically from the pro forma budget all the way through first billing. So
Nice.
I'll set up. Yeah.
Like, wonderful. So when's the ideal time for them to contact you?
If they're leaving a firm, 3 months before they want to open their doors is best.
Yeah, that's what I'd say. They need some runway. It's often I get calls and they're like, "Okay, we left. We're setting up office."
Yes, I've been in those situations, and it's like, you did what? Oh, that's interesting. not necessarily what I would have done, but we'll work with it.
We'll work with it.
Yeah, we'll work with it. Everybody's different. We don't have a box that we put firms in.
Yeah. So what do you do for fun?
I read. I spend time with my kids. I spend time with my grandkids. I do crafts. I lay on the couch, watch TV like half of America does.
Probably more than half.
Yeah, probably more than half. We got to get away from that. Yeah.
What kind of crafts? Anything in particular?
Oh, now I'm throwing pottery.
Oh, I'm a sculptor. So yeah,
nice.
I'll be covered in clay tomorrow about this time. So
oh, great. No, I don't. I'm not that. No, I throw the little pots and throw the little things on the wheel, but it's fun. And I've been doing it a while, and there's a group of us, on Wednesday night, and it's really nice.
That is awesome. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
All right. Well, how do our listeners find you?
They can find me at Diane at dlccs.com. That's my email. Or they can find us at our website at dlccs.com. Or I'm on LinkedIn and Facebook. I'm all right.
All right. And you'll be tagged and in the show notes when we come out. So thank you everybody again for listening to this episode of the Success Partner Podcast. Again, I'm your host, Daya Naef, and we had today Diane Comancho. So thank you,
Thank
Diane.
you.
Thank you,
Thank you for
everyone.
having me.
Thank you for joining us on the Success Partner Podcast. I hope you enjoyed today's conversation and found some valuable takeaways to apply to your own business journey. Remember, this show is brought to you by The Success Partner, where we help small law firms and business owners achieve unparalleled success through strategic guidance, operational excellence, and effective marketing. If you're ready to take your business to the next level, visit thesuccesspartner.net to learn more. Until next time, keep striving for success, and I will see you in the next episode.